Oh, well, I've had work trickle in. I helped someone set up a Roku today. Didn't even realize the new product that just came out. I guess it's been out for a while, but the Roku soundbar, the HD or whatever. So that's what happens when people buy stuff when they don't necessarily know what it is, because he already had a Roku Ultra. So I wasn't sure why he needed a second Roku, but it turns out I didn't even realize the soundbar was its own Roku. So I had to realize that he didn't need the original Roku Ultra anymore. So now he gets all his streaming from a soundbar. That's interesting. It's great because it sounds a lot better than any TV and any speaker in any TV. So I didn't expect to be installing that today. Sounds great, and you just sign into Roku and you're good. You got all your stuff. But anyway, that customer, the reason I'm even mentioning that job is because, one, it was a referral. Obviously, referrals are generally the best customers out there. But I actually ended up having to come back because I took the decision in not disabling the original device, because I don't know what I did, why I didn't disable it, but I didn't originally. So I ended up coming back because he was getting confused because the remote was commandeering both. And I decided, well, let's just leave it plugged in, because what else am I going to do with it? So anyway, I came back and I disabled it. Now, I didn't expect to get paid to do that because that's just maintenance. But he gladly paid me additional time. So it's great when you work hard. I think he could genuinely understand that I was interested in giving him a final product, and I do enjoy the work. So it's kind of hit and miss when you decide whether or not you're going to charge someone. I was not going to ask him to get paid upon showing up to unplug the original hardware. I figured it was just not necessary because technically I didn't really do anything wrong, although there was a secondary issue which we didn't even figure out until after I showed up. I guess his Fubo account was tied to his original Roku account, and in setting up the new hardware, we had accidentally, or I accidentally, set up a new Roku account with an email that was mistyped. So I spent some time there on that account, and I couldn't get the Fubo account to work. I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. Turns out it's already married to his Roku account that was working properly on the original hardware. So once we logged into his existing Roku account on the new hardware, things came to life. So this job is a constant education. I hadn't installed one of those sound bars. In this case, you can either fire it by optical or eARC, and there you go. So now I know the new Roku, the best Roku, is the one with its own speaker, because obviously that's going to sound a lot better than any TV. But again, to my point, I got paid for additional work that I didn't expect to get paid for, because I figured, well, let's just disable the old Roku. So that's how the day went. And then the other day, one of my customers had me come over, and he had me, I guess his TV wasn't working. Similar issue. I guess Cox Cable has this device that basically competes with all the streaming devices. I guess it's called the Zumo. It's a hardware device. It looks physically just like a Roku or any of those box devices that stream. So I guess that's the cable company's answer to competing with all these streaming devices. So anyway, for that particular call, he happens to be a friend. We've become friends over the years. He's been hiring me several times a year for the last dozen years or so. But anyway, all I did this last time for him is show up. That's another part of the job that gets frustrating. Customers get really frustrated when things just start working. I get sort of frustrated, although I understand, and I have to explain tactfully to the customer they did nothing wrong. It's quite possible that all you had to do was a second attempt. So for jobs like that, I generally, well, I mean, for him, I didn't charge. But if it was a one-off, I mean, a house call is a house call. I have my new half-hour minimum, which is $90. If that were to happen, I think I would have made an attempt to tune up anything, come up with anything in the house that I can help with. Oftentimes when those situations show up, the devices, they're not updated. So I'll go look at their computer, the TV itself, or any of those devices might be out of date. That's the best thing I can offer. Frankly, it's good business to charge, even if you aren't able to do a whole lot, because you're paid for the expertise. Sort of like a pilot. They're paid for the expertise. If things don't go right, you're paid for that expertise. So, unfortunately, sometimes when a customer buys something and everything is supposed to be going okay, you have to fundamentally remember that the software that creates everything we watch is also just created by humans like us. Everyone makes mistakes. And I get frustrated because software developers forget that they're designing this stuff for grandma, not themselves. So when I have to deal with a customer whose problems are minor or they show up sort of randomly, I have to tactfully remind the customer they get paid because they're good at what they do. Just because you have to hit the next button twice doesn't mean you made a mistake. Just something to consider. I guess that's all I have to talk about right now. Have a good night. Happy Wednesday.